Do you want an aesthetic physique but just don't have much time? Well, you don't actually need it. If you just have 90 minutes a week with the perfect exercises and a clear method, your body will get this physique sooner rather than later, but only if you train it with the right exercises. Which means we need to hit every muscle in the best way possible, starting with the first exercise called landmine rotational press. This exercise helps to build strong, rounded shoulders while training your core to create a tighter, more defined waist. Now, the reason behind this is really interesting. This single exercise trains your front and side shoulders, your upper chest, triceps, and rotator cuff. But because you'll be rotating and resisting the bar, it also hits up your obliques, your abs, and even the glute on your stabilizing leg. So you're hitting almost everything you need for strong, rounded shoulders and a tighter looking waist. Pretty good for a single exercise. So here's how to do it. First, wedge one end of a barbell into a landmine attachment, or just jam it into a sturdy corner. Now, hold the other end at shoulder height with one hand. Brace your core so the bar doesn't pull you forward. Then press it up and slightly out, following its natural arc. As you press, rotate your torso and hips away from the base. Finish with your arms straight and your body facing away. Then bring it back down under control and switch sides. Coaches like Jeff Cavalieri use this as a shoulder-friendly alternative to the overhead barbell press. But why not just take a barbell? Well, a free barbell can move anywhere, and that's often where shoulder pain starts creeping in. That means you could get much faster injuries, which means you won't be able to work out for a while, and it'll take even longer to achieve your dream physique. However, the bar follows a fixed path, so your shoulder stays in a much safer position the whole time. In fact, one study found that pressing with one arm like this fires up your abs even more than a regular two-handed barbell press. So, this kind of exercise is something we all want in our workout. To get the most out of it, you have to do 2 sets of 6 to 10 reps on each side. But I'll show you exactly how the full 90-minute week training fits together later. For now, let's move on to the next exercise because it's way more effective than it looks. It's called the renegade row or plank row. Here's how you do it. First, get into a push-up position with one hand gripping a dumbbell on each side. Then, spread your feet a little wider for balance. Now, brace your core hard and keep your hips level. Row one dumbbell straight up towards your hip, keeping your elbow close to your ribs. Then lower it under control. Now do the same on the other side without letting your torso twist. Aim for about 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps per side. Now, at first glance, this doesn't look very special, right? But the benefits speak for themselves. As you row, it trains your lats, rear delts, biceps, and rhomboids. But at the very same time, your abs, obliques, and even your lower back are targeted just to stop you from tipping over. To be fair, that's what makes this exercise so good. Your core is working just as hard as your back. And the research backs this up too. Free weight rows like this beat machine rows for core activation because your body has to resist rotation the whole time. And since you're in a plank position, you also train your whole body strength. So you're basically getting a plank and a row in one movement. I don't think there are many exercises that can do both this well. That's why it's so effective for building core stability and upper back thickness. And it also helps build a flatter, more carved midsection because it trains your transverse abdominis, which is the deepest layer of your core, wrapping around your torso like a built-in weight belt. Now, as good as this exercise is, it doesn't do much for your lower body, and that's where one of the most effective squats comes in. It's called the Bulgarian split squat. First, stand about 2 feet in front of a bench, then rest one foot on the bench behind you. Keep your torso upright and place your front foot far enough forward so your knee doesn't shoot past your toes. Now, lower yourself straight down until your back knee almost touches the floor. Keep most of your weight on your front leg. Then drive through your front heel to stand back up. Finish all your reps on one leg, then switch sides. Now, here's a little trick. Move your front foot further from the bench and you'll shift more of the work to your glutes and hamstrings. Move it closer and your quads take over. I actually learned that from a Bulgarian friend of mine who's a fitness coach. And he didn't just teach me that trick, he was the one who recommended this whole exercise. He called it one of the best lower body movements for building a muscular physique. Now, if you're my subscriber, you already know I don't believe something just because someone says it. So I went looking for evidence, and to be honest, he was pretty much right. One study found this exercise activates your hamstrings and glutes even more than a back squat. Another study found the Bulgarian split squat puts much less stress on your lower back than a traditional back squat. So this fills a gap that squat-only routines usually leave behind. It builds the glute and hamstring shape that makes a physique look complete instead of just big. Because it balances your glute and hamstring development, you avoid that quad-dominant look where the front of your legs is huge but the side and back look flat. And it's not just your glutes and hamstrings either. This also trains your quads since you're working one leg at a time. Your deep hip and core stabilizers have to work much harder than they do in a regular back squat. That's one of the biggest reasons I like this exercise so much. Anyway, do 2 sets of 5 to 8 reps per leg. So yeah, we've still got plenty of time left, but don't worry about it just yet. Once we finish the last 2 exercises, I'll show you exactly how everything fits into a full 90-minute week. For now, let's move on to the archer push-up. And if your goal is to build a strong, solid chest, this might be the most important exercise on the list. But before we go on, I want to mention that I've read your comments, and since many people asked what I listen to in the gym or while driving to it, I am now on Spotify for you guys. Link is in the description. Anyways, here's how you do the archer push-up. First, get into a push-up position with your hands much wider than shoulder width. Then point your fingers slightly outwards. Brace your core and keep a straight line from your head to your heels. Now shift your weight to one side, bending that elbow while the other arm stays locked straight. Lower your chest toward your working hand, getting as close to the floor as you can. Then press yourself back up using that working arm. Come back to the center, then switch sides. But if you are a gym guy, you can also do the incline Sven press. Place your feet shoulder-width apart and sit on a bench that is angled to a 45-degree incline in position. Press a weight plate between your palms just above your middle chest. Extend your arms over top of your chest, maintaining pressure into the weight plate from your palms. Control the weight plate back to the starting position. And hopefully I'm explaining these exercises well. If anything's confusing, just drop a comment. I'm always happy to help. Anyway, here's why archer push-up is so good. It's a calisthenics classic used as the bridge between a regular push-up and a true one-arm push-up. Because one arm is doing almost all the work, your chest and triceps have to work much harder than they do in a normal push-up. It also exposes strength differences between your left and right side, which a regular push-up can hide pretty well. But there's another benefit too. Actually, you get a much deeper stretch at the bottom and spend more time under tension in that stretched position, which is one of the biggest drivers of muscle growth. So because of that, it helps build a chest that's balanced, well-defined, and more developed than most regular push-up routines can give you. As for frequency, aim for 4 to 6 reps per side for 3 sets. That'll take around 5 to 6 minutes. And, by the way, don't be surprised if your arms start shaking the first few times. That's completely normal. If full reps feel impossible at first, do them against a bench instead of the floor until you build the strength. Now, there's still one muscle group we haven't touched, your inner thighs, or abductors, which helps you create a wide, balanced lower body and adds true thickness to your legs. These muscles also support your hips and protect your knees during heavy lifts, and for that, we have the Copenhagen plank. This exercise was developed at Copenhagen University Hospital's Sports Medicine Clinic. Today, it's a standard part of injury prevention programs for professional soccer players around the world. Here's how you do the solo version. First, lie on your side with your top leg resting on a bench or chair. Then, place your forearm on the floor to support your upper body. Keep your top leg bent if you're just starting, or straighten it if you want more of a challenge. Now, raise your hips and bottom leg until your body forms one straight line from your shoulder to your ankle. Then lower yourself slowly back down. And repeat. Do all your reps on one side, then flip over and repeat on the other leg as well. Now here's why this exercise is so underrated. It trains your inner thighs and your abs at the exact same time. In fact, out of the 8 different abductor exercises tested, this one produced the highest inner thigh activation. It also came out on top for abs activation, and it gets even better. One study found that adding this exercise into a normal warm-up produced strength gains that the standard program alone couldn't. A newer review also found major improvements in both strength and balance from this single movement. Imagine your body like a chain. Everything else can be strong, but one weak link still decides how much the whole chain can handle. And for a lot of people, that weak link is the inner thighs, simply because almost nobody trains them directly. But here's the misconception. Some people think this exercise is just for injury prevention for pro athletes. It isn't. The same principle that helps a hamstring curl build visible muscle applies here too, which means this exercise builds real inner thigh muscle, not just resilience. And it also trains your external obliques, rectus abdominis, and glutes to keep your pelvis stable. So those are the 5 exercises. Together, they train almost every major muscle group effectively. But the best part isn't just the exercises, it's the time, because you can do all of this in just 90 minutes a week. Just split those 90 minutes into 3 days, so 30 minutes each. Do the same workout each day with about a minute of rest between exercises. Nothing important gets left out, and nothing gets repeated so much that you burn yourself into the ground. And you are training each muscle group 2 to 3 times a week, which according to science lets the muscles grow faster. Now, the only part I can't do for you is actually sticking to it. So if you give it a shot, stay consistent and let the results do the talking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.